And I want to talk to you about recent polling. And when I say recent, it's not just this year. This is a trend that's been brewing over the past several years. Show that the American public doesn't have the most favorable view of the Supreme Court. And that's a big change from when I was a kid and 10, 20, 30 years ago. What was the precipitating factor, in your view, in the decline in public opinion of the Supreme Court? And is it ever likely to go back to more neutral, uncontroversial territory?
Well, I think there's a pretty clear answer as to why the American public views the Supreme Court as negatively as it does. And part of it has to do with the ethical violations, which are just a bad look. I mean, whatever you think about what effect it has on his decisions, and I think probably the effect is pretty small if it exists at all, it just looks very bad for Justice Thomas to be going on these fancy vacations with the multi-billionaires who actually have interest in cases before the court. Mm-hmm. So that's bad. That's one thing. I think what's more important is that the Supreme Court looks more and more as though it's representing a pretty extreme ideology that's held by a pretty small minority of the American people. So the Supreme Court looks like it's out of step with mainstream American public opinion and also mainstream American constitutional thinking. And there's a reason for that, which is that you've got this 6-3 supermajority, even though Republicans lost 5 of the last 8 elections. And if you've been following the presidential elections, we should have, in fact, a 6-3 Democratic majority. So what that means is the Supreme Court is pretty far away, 6 justices away, from where it would have been if we'd been giving each president 2 appointments per 4-year term. And the last time it was this far away, so this is almost unprecedented in American history, the last time it was this far away was when it decided the Dred Scott case in 1858. So I think there's a lesson to be taken from this, which is when the Supreme Court gets too far away from mainstream American public opinion, it starts to advance views that the American people don't like, and understandably, they react against that.
I just got goosebumps because that indicates to me that some of the more unpopular decisions, not just from this term, obviously we saw the outcry over the Chevron case, but if you go back 2 years to Dobbs, Roe v. Wade could still be law if these reforms had taken place, in your view?
Yes, absolutely.